All right, so this is a new proof of concept. There's still work to be done on this, but there was a conversation a few months back in the Crucible related to slashes versus accent swings. So I finally got some time to play with this. So what I'm doing is I'm actually applying the function that we use for the RealClash, which is where the clash gets picked, the clash sound gets picked based on how hard the blade is hit. And I'm reapplying that to actually be choosing the accent swing sounds based on how fast your blade's accelerating. So this is kind of an enhancement to the accent swing capability. But the idea is to get rid of the need for slashes. What we'll do instead is based on acceleration, the files will pick sequentially. So if your lower end acceleration to trigger accent swings, we'll be picking like your lower numbered files. And then your really fast accelerations, which would trigger either accent swings, or if you have them slashes, that'll be the higher number files. And the files will actually get picked based on that actual acceleration that triggers the swing. And I've got it working pretty well. I also made a change, and this will be applicable to both the RealClash, but also this swing effect, is even though we're going to select the files based on, in this case, acceleration for RealClash based on how hard the clash is, it won't play the same file twice. So I kind of took the no repeat random that Fredrik had added, and I've applied it to this. So it's going to choose the file based on the intensity of either the clash for clashes or the swing acceleration for accent swings. But if it's already used that exact same file, it's going to randomly either choose the previous or the next file. And choosing the next or previous allows you to have them kind of grouped together so that it's still choosing something relatively equivalent to the clash impact or equivalent to the acceleration, but you don't get the exact same sound twice. So that's also in this test. So now this font is a special font I've set up. The hum is actually super low. So I pulled the gain down on the hum file, and I pulled the gain down on the swing pairs on purpose, because normally accent swings, you kind of hear them on the tail end of your swings, but smooth swing does most of the work, and that'll still be the case. But so this font, instead of hearing the accent swing sound, you're going to hear a number, and that's based on the acceleration of my swing. So normal movement, right now you can't really hear the smooth swing, but normal movement doesn't do anything. But if you do a quicker swing,
6.
It's going to pick a file. So that was kind of a low to medium swing.
1.
That was kind of the lowest threshold that would trigger.
7.
Medium.
2.
Low.
1.
So lower end swing, so a little bit slower acceleration on your swing, we'll be picking a lower numbered swing file for accents.
3.
But now, and this is a little tough because I'm in a confined area. I'm going to try to pick up some speed.
8.
So the faster you go, it's going to pick a higher number.
10. 12. 11. 12. 11. 12. 13. 14.
So the faster you swing, it's then going to pick the higher numbers. And what that'll do is, if you have slashes, you would just set those slashes to be swing, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. In this case, I have 16 sounds. And you'd set your other sounds to be, your slower sounds to be the lower numbers. And then this selection will handle it. Now, so that's just with numbers. So what I'm going to do, I have another font. So now this font is actually a Frankenstein. So again, I pulled the hum down, the gain on the hum and the gain on the swing pairs purposefully, so that we can hear the accents, because sometimes, particularly with smooth swing, the accents, you kind of pick them up, but they don't stand out as much. Now, what I did was I took a bunch of different swing sounds and a couple slash sounds from a few fonts. A lot of the fonts I have, the accent swings are really similar. And because of that, I didn't get a lot of differentiation. So what I was looking for, and I am by no means a font expert or a sound expert, I'm usually more the visual guy, but what I'm thinking of is that slower swings should have kind of a slower, meandering, deeper tone, and then the really high should be obviously a higher pitch, a little bit longer, a little bit drawn out. So I took a bunch of different swing sounds. Now some of them maybe aren't perfect for this hum, even though you can't hear the hum. But the idea was just to have differentiation so that every swing would sound a little bit more equivalent to actually the speed of the swing. So we'll do a little bit slower. So that's a little bit deeper tone. And the only thing you're hearing is the accent swings. The swing pairs and the hum are super low. I pulled the gain down all the way. So when you hear a swing sound, that's going to be only the accent swing that's being selected based on the acceleration. And then if I go a little faster, you'll see that was a little bit higher pitch. And then that was really fast, so even higher pitch. So a lot of this is going to be tied to font makers and or users putting their fonts, setting the fonts up and setting those accent swing sounds up. First of all, sequentially, but also so they make sense to create it. But the idea is, and I'll show it next, is when you mix that with smooth swing, it does give you that enhancement of the really fast swings, the medium swings, etc. So do a couple more kind of slow, medium, fast swings so you can hear just the accent swing, and then we'll put it on the regular font with the regular hum and the regular swing pairs working. So those are slower, a little bit faster. So really fast. And I don't have a ton of space here. I'm trying not to beat up my walls. So the higher pitch sound is from a different font, but I like that as being the kind of fast swing slash. But now let's go listen to it all mixed together. And again, this is a work in progress. So particularly the font side, as more fonts would handle this, I think the sound will really just come into its own. So now this is the normal font, but with the same setup. So the accent swings are still that Frankenstein mix of different fonts. But now you'll hear it. So here's your smooth swing. So that's all smooth swing, but then when I pick up some speed, that tail end, that's the accent swing. And that's kind of a slower swing. So the idea of the accent swings is to just enhance smooth swing, because smooth swing obviously is great on its own. But when SA22C added those accent swings, it was to just add a little enhancement for the faster swings. And again, it's based on acceleration, so how fast you're changing speed in the initiation of the swing is how it's going to select those files. So still more work to be done. The idea, I think, will be to actually hopefully get this put into the alpha testing, but have some people test this specific feature out. Again, fonts will be really important on this because if you have a lot of accent swings that all sound similar, you're not going to notice it as much. But if you order your accent swings, just like we're doing with the RealClash with Clash sounds, if you order them sequentially based on what would be a slower acceleration being the low numbers and a really fast acceleration being your highest numbers, and then obviously everything sorted in between, this function will now allow for that acceleration to choose it. So you really are going to have the realism of a different speed swing triggering a different accent, which if you have the right font or font set up for it, I think will just add a little bit more layers to that smooth swing capability. So. But as initial test, as initial setup, it's been running great. And like I said, I did add the new feature so you don't actually get the same sound twice, even if you repeat either the clash strengths or the swing accelerations. So that it'll enhance that feature as well. So still more work to be done, lots to come, but hope you enjoy.